Hello and welcome to Energia Park for the last game of this round of the Leinster School Senior Cup today between Belvedere College and Castleknock College. Promises to be a great game here, and hopefully the weather doesn't interrupt the game too much. It seems to be darkening as the day is going on, and obviously that wind is picking up. Great crowd here from both schools, and you can probably hear the noise in the background. Schools games always tend to deliver. I'm joined today by Ronan Duggan from Belvedere College and Tadhg Brosnan from Castleknock College. Promises to be a great game. I'll jump to you first, Tadhg. What are you looking forward to seeing from the game?
Delighted the weather conditions have improved. The wind will probably still be a big factor, so just want to see a nice open running game of rugby.
Ronan, obviously Belvedere coming into this game, they've been in finals in the past, they've won it in the past. You must be looking forward to this game too against Castleknock. I know the last time you played against each other, Castleknock came out on top 2 years ago, so you must be looking forward to getting another chance at this.
Yeah, it's a bit of a revenge match, especially as the two schools are quite close by, and a lot of the boys would know each other quite well, playing for similar clubs and that kind of stuff as well. So two teams that know each other quite well.
Well, listen, I'm sure it's going to be a great game between both schools, and best of luck to both of them. Probably the best thing about schools rugby, for those of you who watch it, know that players like to move the ball, like to run in space, and they like to kick the ball too. Hopefully the weather conditions don't impact that too much today, and we're going to see the great game between both schools, steeped in the history of the competition. Just waiting for the teams to come out now at the moment. Castleknock are out in the pitch, and I think Belvedere are just about to make their way out now in a minute. Obviously you can hear the crowd in the background. They're looking forward to this. Fantastic to have crowds back at games, obviously, and here we can see Belvedere College coming out into the pitch now, and we're just getting ready for kick-off. A couple of minutes away now, and we'll just run through the teams in a minute or two. It's looking like two very strong teams. Starting with Belvedere College, looking first at Patrick O'Grady, who came second place in the Leinster cross country there not on 2 weeks ago. Andre Ryan, who's a fourth year, who played JCT in September, along with Owen McDermott and Alex Osanoff. Looking at Alan Spicer, who's been called the most interesting prospect in schools rugby at the moment. 6'10" and 120 kg, he'll look to put a stamp on the game. Across to Castleknock College, you've got a number of players who are going to look to put their stamp on the game, no more so than Danny Rowan, a fifth-year captain who's also a goal kicker, been described as a cool-headed and intelligent player who's going to look to put his own stamp on the game as it goes on. The teams are just lining up here now for kick-off, getting ready here. You can hear the crowd, they're just mad for the game to start now. Schools games never disappoint, and I think this is going to be a big one too. Looking at your team here first now, Tadhg, what players should we be looking out for from the Castleknock team?
I think the back three, so two wingers and the full back, they'll be very exciting and they won't disappoint.
And Ronan, who should we be looking out for now in the Belvo team?
Well, it'll be hard to miss the 6'10" Alan Spicer. He's certainly a man mountain, and he'll be one you'll definitely be able to see. Yeah,
just looking at the teams here now, you can see him hugging number 7 there. The number 7 is Luke Brady, a 6th-year who can play across the back row as well. Or excuse me, sorry, it's Sean Coakley, who can also play across the back row, but you can certainly see Spicer there. Absolutely huge player. Referee just taking place now in the middle of the pitch, getting ready for kick-off here, and it's going to shape up to be a very good game. We have Jed Tormley kicking off the game for Belvedere. He's a third-year SCT player, as in he's played for the last 3 years, I should say, in an Ireland under-19. And here we go. Here comes kick-off. Ball's gone deep and just gets held up in the wind there quickly, and Castleknock managed to recover. You can hear both teams willing to celebrate absolutely everything in the game so far, and a big carry coming in early from the Castleknock forwards. A big positive carry too, and Belvedere just can't get over the ball. Castleknock now will look to put a bit of structure onto play first off, and they're going to look to use this big wind that's there too, and a big long kick from their 9 comes down, and it's collected, but it's gone backwards. There's no real panic there coming from Ivor Cuddy, the Belvedere fullback. A big tackle coming in across, and Belvedere under a little bit of pressure now inside their 22. Of course the wind is blowing towards that Wesley end. That Spicer with the carry, keep an eye on him throughout the day. But they're just going to look to put a bit of structure now to the play and exit, and maybe calm this game down a bit. This ball, however, it's failed to hit touch, but it doesn't matter. Castleknock with an early offside, and Belvedere get a chance to clear their lines. But Tadhg, that's a good bit of pressure coming from Castleknock now early on in this game.
Yeah, great kick there from Sam, number 9, and great chase on it as well. Fullback very well there to recover the ball, and I think just offside there, so penalty Belvedere.
Penalty Belvedere, a chance to clear their lines now, and we'll see the early line out coming from Belvedere. We'll also probably see the early pressure coming on the hookers trying to throw with this wind. This wind doesn't just affect goal kickers or the back three, it's the poor hookers who also feel it when they're thrown into lineouts, but everybody knows that they're often forgot about. We can see from the touch judges lineout that wind is coming straight down to the Wesley end. A shortened line out here now from Belvedere, 5-man with a forward standing at 9, so we can see they're probably going to go for the maul, which they are. That ball's moved off now, so 9 can join in. That's a big maul from Belvedere early on, and they get a penalty advantage too. A free play here now from Belvedere. They'll look to play. They'll be delighted with that early line out. Castleknock will notice that it's a big point to play, that they'll have to cover that, I should say, early on in the game. Spicer heavily involved early in the game. You'll have to keep your eye on him throughout, but I'm sure that he won't disappoint. Well cleared out. I think advantage is over now for Belvedere. That's a good line break coming through. A nice offload there. That's Louis gone there at 10 with the break, and back to the forwards to get a bit of structure. Big Castleknock tackle coming in, just held up that small bit, allows defence to get set. Spicer involved again. He must be on 4 or 5 carries at this stage already. He's hungry for work and he's hunting it. Castleknock rolling away there. Referee happy that he's legal. You can see the Castleknock defence. Tackler +1 coming in on the ball, just looking to make sure. Oh, that looked a nasty tackle. Referee seems happy. It's probably the momentum of the player that brought him down, but referee happy that he landed okay. A nice tip-on pass from Spicer there again, heavily involved in this game early on. We're only 2.5 minutes in, and Castleknock now with a big turnover there. Ball taken in. That's a lot of pressure now from Belvedere as well, Ronan. The fact that they look to play from outside, inside their own 22, won that line out, big maul, won a penalty, or continued playing until that penalty came from Castleknock, but they'll be happy with that start in the line out.
Yeah, you'd have to be happy to get out of that 22 there. They were in under an awful lot of pressure with that spill from Ivor Cuddy, but he responded well, and from there built their way up the pitch, and unfortunately just missing out there with that penalty.
Well, they'll be happy with the outcome of Castleknock's penalty. Unfortunately, Castleknock won't be. They failed to miss touch, and that's just an indication again of how strong that wind is. It's a scrum now back to Belvedere. We'll get the first scrum of the game. We might get an idea now of how the Belvedere scrum is shaping up into this game. This is good field position for Belvedere. They're just in the touchline. We might see a strike move run off here. Of course, Castleknock like to play a nice open style of game. Ronan, what kind of game do Belvedere like to play, and what can we expect to see them in open play today?
I'd say we wouldn't really have a traditional type of game. We tend to mix it up depending on what we have every single year, but this team certainly are well able to play with ball in hand, and you'll see that we won't be kicking too much, especially in this weather.
And Tadhg, of course, Jeremy Staunton's the head coach. Jeremy Staunton known for his time at Munster, Quins, London Irish, Leicester. He liked to run the ball. Are we going to see that from Castleknock as well today?
Yeah, I think we will. The first penalty won there was by Gavin Murphy. I know the kick was too long, but Gavin will be very talented hurler and footballer with the Castleknock GA club.
We're back in open play now. Castleknock have possession of the ball. A good long kick coming through, but unfortunately it's just gone out in the full. So the kicking game not quite coming off yet for Castleknock, but there's plenty of time left. We're only 4 minutes into the game, and I'm sure that once they realise where the wind is going and just how strong it is, that the kicking game will come in much better. Another line out now for Belvedere off the first one. They managed to catch, drive, big maul. I imagine they'll probably look to make the same again and make due dividends off this as well. We can see just how strong that wind is coming, just that flag billowing in the wind. The referee just pausing for a second to make sure whoever's involved is involved and who isn't. Wasn't happy with the forward in the 9 roll there, but is pleased now. That's a good steal from Castleknock, and it takes a little bit of pressure off as they look to come down the blind side again. They set up just outside the 5 on the next pod. It's a good pass under pressure coming through, and that's a fine carry too. Coming up through this now, it's another turnover now. This time it's for Belvedere, and that's a very strong carry coming in from John Tadhg. Belvedere leaping the pressure onto Castleknock early on here, but look at that line speed from Castleknock. That's an excellent tackle coming in too, making sure that they're getting off their line constantly. Belvedere look to go down the blind side again. No pressure, no panic, just happy to play the ball and get their structure in. And you can hear the crowd, how they appreciate that positive carry coming in from Belvedere again. Now they look to go wide that small bit here. That's number 13 carrying up. Andre Ryan, a 4th year who played JCT this year as well, earlier in September, as those competitions were rearranged. It's a big carry in the middle of the pitch. Just failed to live on that ball there. Belvedere look to go wide. That's a good pass coming out, and they hit touchline. As you can see, Belvedere just working their way from touchline to touchline, happy to play same way rugby throughout. Just managing to get their big carries in there. That's a big tackle coming in from Castleknock, and they pour through that, but the referee's not too happy. And it looks like an early chance for Belvedere if they decide to go for post, but judging from their line out, they might just go for the line too. So, Ronan, lots going on early in the game. Plenty now to make this decision to go for line-out. I think he's opting to go for line-out. But we'll see now in a second. Yeah, he definitely is. What do you make of this decision now to go for the line rather than go for posts?
Well, we did a very impressive maul there about 5-6 minutes ago, so I'm not surprised by that decision. And Castleknock under a bit of pressure there, so time to really go for it here and with this line-out.
As we saw from the earlier line-outs, now Belvedere were probably on top so far in the line-out in this game, but there's plenty of time for things to change. This is probably their best position so far in the game, and what we're going to see now is going to be a line-out to Belvedere. Castleknock don't try and take the ball. They're happy just to get their line-out maul D going, and they managed to do that very well. They come through the second time as well, and now we're into broken play again. That's a big carry coming in, I think, again from Spicer, who's been heavily involved. That's a big carry coming in there now from Alex Usanoff. Looks like truck and trailer there, and it is. The ref gives that. That's unfortunate. It's just one of those things, and I imagine, Ronan, as the game goes on, Belvedere will settle into a pattern.
Yeah, definitely. As you said, you can see them moving across the field quite nicely, but not too many line breaks so far, but good to be in the position they were in there.
Castleknock now happy to clear their lines, and Tadhg, they'll be pleased now that they managed to get out of this area without conceding a score too.
Yeah, fortunate, I suppose, to get the penalty, and I suppose they'll be even happier that the kick found its touch, and hopefully now they'll have a good attacking platform here.
Yeah, they go from their own 22, deep in their own 22 now to the more or less the halfway line. Get a chance now to play their own ball. It's been a lot of Belvedere early on in this game, but now Castleknock get to put their own stamp on it. Starts off well by collecting that. They bring it down as if to maul, but come wide, and there's a big kick coming up now to test that back three. We can see just how far that ball travelled, but it's collected well, and Belvedere looked to transition straight away into attack, and they managed to. That's a fantastic little mini break, but unfortunately he's just tackled into touch. That's a fantastic tackle now coming in from Castleknock's number 12, Peter McIntaggart, whose older brother Sean played SCT. He was the vice captain in 2014, but that's a great tackle. That'll settle his nerves too, and also make Belvedere question whether they're going to transition from that deep in their own pitch. Some great rugby seen early on now. Both sets of crowds thoroughly enjoying it, both sets of fans I should say. There's plenty of noise coming from the crowd. I don't see it dying down anytime soon. Castleknock hooker finds his man. That's an excellent throw. An excellent throw from Gavin Murphy O'Kane. And we see now the Castleknock maul making its own dividends here against Belvedere's defensive maul. There's no panic now. Number 9, Sam Wisniewski, is happy at the back of this, waiting to see what happens. He might have to join this ruck. Now he does, so it's going to be slow ball for Castleknock, but that's no problem. Forwards carrying through there. Internal defence for Belvedere failing just a little bit, but the referee is happy that there was no release in that tackle. And you have to say, Tadhg, considering the fact that just 2 minutes ago Castleknock were defending on their own 5 metre line, now they're in a chance to go ahead in this game with 3 points.
Yeah, and Danny Rowan, I think, has indicated go for posts, so hopefully the wind won't have a massive bearing on it, and Castleknock probably maybe a little bit fortuitous, maybe if they do take the lead, to be 3-0 up, but they did weather a storm there. So
well, fortune favours the brave, so if they take the lead here they'll be very happy. Number 8, Danny Rowan, opted for the points. He's the captain and he's also a fifth year, but he's also a goal kicking number 8, which is something you don't see that often, be it in professional or schools or amateur rugby. So it'll be great now to see his first opportunity at goal. Forwards kicking at goal isn't something you see that often. Those of you old enough will probably remember John Eales for Australia, a second row goal kicker whose nickname was Nobody, because of course nobody's perfect. But we'll see how Danny Rowan gets on here now with his first kick at goal. And that's an early lead for Castleknock College. You can hear the crowd applauding Danny Rowan's first kick. Goal kicking number 8, and of course his decision to go for goal has been rewarded with 3 points. In the warm-up he was slotting them from all over the place, and that'll do his nerves a lot of good, and especially when it comes to calming down after the rough and tumble of the forwards to have to goal kick. A difficult skill at the best of times, but that's an early lead for Castleknock. Despite weathering a lot of the storm, Tadhg, they're now 3-0 ahead. I think that they and their coaches will be very happy that they've now done the business there in the Belvedere half.
Yeah, you can just see the ball held up in the wind there. That'll tell you how strong it is. So Belvedere are playing into that. The 2 lineouts gave a great platform, and I presume Dermot Blaney, the coach for Castleknock, would be very happy with how that maul moved up the field as well.
Absolutely, and Belvedere now back with possession. And as we said, the wind that's strong, so you want to make sure that you're building a lead when you have the wind, and also that you're not falling too far behind when you don't. Once they get to half time, of course, the possession swaps, and there's a knock on there in Castleknock ball. They'll probably look to transition quickly. But as I was saying, at half time, a lot of what you're going to see kicking wise from one team is going to become the norm for the other. That's a good deep kick there from Castleknock, trying to pin Belvedere back into their own half. Of course, the wind is against Belvedere, but that one just dribbles on that bit too much again. It looks like it's going to be a goal line dropout here for Belvedere, a rule which is brought in, or a law that is brought in to speed up the game. I'm a big fan of it, I know others aren't, and it's only when you are defending it or that you like it, and it's only when you have to kick it that you probably don't. But an early goal line dropout now for Belvedere here against the wind. As you can see, Castleknock, nobody is behind their own 10 due to the strength of the wind. They're lining this up one, and they're just going to probably look to attack straight away and keep the pressure on Belvedere. This is given a fine kick, but fails to, or just gets outside the 22. It's collected well, and Castleknock recycle. Big carry coming in here from number 5. Quaja carries that one well, and it's brought out now to the side again. Another big carry, this time coming in from hooker Murphy O'Kane. Little 9 break there. Castleknock just keeping on the pressure. They'll be happy again if whatever result they can get here, be it 3, 5 or 7. There's a lot of space out on the left hand side if they want to hunt it, but they decide to crash up the middle. That's a big handoff coming off in that carry there, but again, good recycled ball. Belvedere failing. Oh, and the crowd don't like that one. The referee is happy that he played the man and not the ball. An excellent piece of skill if you can do it, coming in from Belvedere there. Just stems the attack that small bit and slows up the ball. An excellent carry there coming in from number 7, Luke Brady, who can play across the back row. A nice little deft pass, trying to get outside the winger, but fails to. Castleknock happy to play in the 5 metre channels and then come back in. A big carry there coming from John Tadhg, I think it was. Castleknock building the pressure, happy just to play tight. There's no real panic, keeping their framework in play. Pass coming in from 9 now. He decides to dart instead, and Belvedere get over the ball, and the referee rewards it. Again, huge defence coming inside in each team's 22s. This one, it's Belvedere who decides to get over the ball and win the penalty. Ronan, just like Castleknock there a minute ago, Belvedere now getting out of their half without conceding. You must be pleased with that too. Yeah,
I'd say that comes as a big relief there. In these schools games, it can flip so quickly, and you really have to take your shot when it comes, and Castleknock there just failing to actually capitalise on that position on the field. But Belvedere, I'd say, relieved more than anything else.
As we saw now, the wind, the Castleknock are happy just to pin Belvedere down into that half, and Belvedere just trying to weather the storm, literally and figuratively, I suppose, and they're trying to just get out of their half now. We'll take a second just as the players getting a bit of attention, but again, Belvedere now will just look to exit. The important thing here is that they make touch, I think, rather than just trying to go for distance, and make sure they're just keeping their hands on the ball that bit, Ronan.
Yeah, and you can see that goal line dropout was held up pretty much in the air, so it's going to be a difficult kick to make here.
And as we can see, that does hit touch, but you can just see the ball being held up. I know we've talked about it a lot, but there's actually no describing how strong this wind is coming across the pitch. It's really affecting both teams early on, be it kicking too far or not being able to kick far enough. But we get to see Belvedere's line out here now again, being thrown by number 2, David Dowse. Lots of movement in that line out as they look to get to the front. And it's a great take there coming in from Eddie Rees, a Meath man, who travels to Belvedere. And they get the penalty advantage off that maul. That maul is going to be a big weapon, I think, Ronan, throughout this game. And that's a nice little break off the back there.
Yeah, that was David Dowse just off the back of that maul there. There was another superb maul from Belvedere, but they're out in the outfield here.
And that was an excellent pass from Jed Tormley. Judged the wind perfectly, looking to play into the space. Referee says no advantage there. That player was fine over the ball. I think over the ball was John Ozan. Even the ref said that was fine, but coming back for the earlier infringement in the maul being dragged down. A quick warning there. There's 2 mauls dragged down early on by Castleknock. We're only 15 minutes into the game, and the ref feels the need to tell them that so far. And I don't think it's going to be any surprise to see Belvedere probably go for the maul again, especially with the wind coming against them here. Again, a very big weapon to have in your arsenal is a good maul. We see it with Ulster all the time. And Jed Tormley again for Belvedere decides to go up. Jed Tormley, probably an old head on young shoulders. He's pulling the strings very well. He's shown a lot of discipline in his decision making and also his choice of passing and distribution. So we'll see what they can do off this now. Again, lots of movement. They get to the front. The referee blows the whistle. No, he doesn't. It's play on. A messy lineup, but it's okay. Belvedere will continue to move. And Castleknock again coming up trumps with the ball here. They'll look to exit now. There was a knock on, so they have advantage here. I imagine they'll probably get into their framework and look to exit from here and pin Belvedere back into their own half. John Azani a bit slow getting off the ground there, but he's back up. He seems okay. The referee says no advantage, and it's going to be a scrum Castleknock due to a knock on. Again, Tadhg, I'll jump to you for this one. Again, we've seen a team enter the 22 and the other team coming up trumps with the ball. Is this something do you think we're going to see throughout the day, or as the game goes on that teams are going to settle down that small bit more and manage to keep hold of the ball when they're in the red zones like that?
Yeah, I suppose as the clock ticks on, we'll probably see them holding on to these. The talk coming into it was there would only be maybe one score between these two teams, so the nerves are probably up, and we're just seeing a lot of like little unforced errors here and there, and unfortunately for the attacking side it's kind of happened in the 22, the opposition's 22.
As well as that, we're just coming into the 18th minute of the game. It's a free kick offer to Castleknock there, but Castleknock with the win too, Tadhg, they're obviously going to want to capitalise as much as they can in this half. It's only 3-0 now, about 12 minutes to half time. About 17 minutes to half time. Obviously they'll want to get down, but do you think that they need to start choosing to go for posts a bit more than lineouts when the opportunity arises in this half?
Yeah, I think they will. Unfortunately, Belvedere have been very clever. They've kept the ball, they've carried it well. So Castleknock actually been kind of starved of the possession that they wanted. So we haven't seen much from maybe 12, 13 and further on out. So hopefully it will open up a little bit for them.
Yeah, it's always going to be a struggle with this wind. Again, the aforementioned wind that we keep bringing up. That's a big scrum coming in from both sides, and that's gone back according to the referee, and there's just a little bit of a mix-up there in the middle of the pitch. Castleknock will need just to get a bit of structure now into this ball here, settle down, either try and keep ball or just exit back into the Belvedere half. I imagine, judging from this wind, we're probably going to see a box kick here now coming from 9, the way he's organising that ruck. And that box comes in and makes touch. So again, another good exit from Castleknock. We've seen a number of good exits from Belvedere too. It's kind of been the theme of the game so far. A team gets into the 22 and then the other team exits again. But of course, Belvedere will be very happy to play all the ball in the Castleknock half, especially against this wind in the first half. Another Belvedere line-out now. There's been a couple of maul penalties coming off their line-out so far. They obviously feel it's a part of their game that they can exploit in this game. And again, they go up at the front, but this time Castleknock get up, slap back, and it's cleared up very, very well there by number 9, Sam Wisniewski. It's going to be slow ball here now just because the scrum half is in there, but that's a good carry as they look to attack the blind side. Good footwork there in the carry coming from the winger. I'm pretty sure that was Dara Enright, a fifth year in Castleknock College, but again, Belvedere managed to come up trumps by getting over the ball. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that was the Belvedere hooker getting in over the ball, David Dowse there. And obviously, just like we've seen before, I imagine that Belvedere will probably go for the line out, opt to go up the line, make some ground and get their line out functioning again. It seems to be the run of the game. We just have an injury here. I'm afraid I didn't actually see who's down. Tadhg,
I think it's Gavin Murphy O'Kane. He's carried a few niggles in the last couple of years, so they'll be quite concerned about him. Hopefully he's okay. I see him come to his feet there. But another massive play from Valley in the line out there. That'll be a big feature. He just got the hand in and flicked it back towards Castleknock. Unfortunately, they didn't control that, and it's a penalty to Belvedere.
Gavin Murphy O'Kane, a 6th year in Castleknock, who was a JCT captain. He's back after a long injury. He's also a minor Dublin footballer, and he's on that panel too. It's not often you see the front rows getting the credit they deserve for being the footballers they are. But there you go, folks. He's up on his feet and he looks to be okay. Just a little bit of attention here. Again, Castleknock did disrupt that Belvedere line-out. They'll hopefully look to do the same again here. And although they didn't control it, at least they're upsetting the set piece that Belvedere wants so badly to function well. Again, number 12 and captain Jed Tormley is heading down the line. He kicks that. He's not looking for too much distance. I think he's just happy to get that ball into touch and let the forwards take over here. A big throw coming up for David Dowse. Again, he's been very busy in the game as well. Lots of little involvements, be it in the tight or loose. See Belvedere now walk in. Lots of movement early on and take the ball in around the 3 position of the line out and get that maul functioning nice and early. You can see that's a nice long maul there from Belvedere. Referee's happy that's the same maul as they continue to carry. And the back's now just spread out. I know you can't see it in your screen, you'll see it now in a second. The back's out, there's an overlap there to the right if they want to spread that ball quickly. It's just coming out very slowly and they decide to carry up here again. Castleknock just a small bit more narrow, but they'll easily get across as well, I imagine. They're set very well, there's no real panic yet. With the far wing for Belvedere, Patrick O'Grady. He's just hugging the far touchline. He's just on the right off your screen, but you'll see him now in a second as that ball goes across, I'm sure. Belvedere happy to keep it tight and just keep applying the pressure here at the moment. Eat the clock of this first half to make sure that they're getting as much against the wind as they possibly can and keep that pressure on Castleknock. The forwards getting through a lot of work here. That's a big positive tackle coming in from Castleknock. Just making sure that they're not allowing these positive carries to soak up their defensive line. Belvedere happy to keep it tight. The crowd are enjoying it, I think it's fair to say. The Castleknock crowd gone a little bit quiet now, maybe in anticipation and worry of what's about to happen here. So far we've seen teams turning over the ball. Are we about to see the first try come in from Belvedere? Another tight carry here. They're happy just to trust the process and go through it. Referees now awarded advantage. So they have a free play coming up here. That's a big carry coming in from hooker David Dowse, I believe. And now they've gone wide. Jed Thornley just spills it, but the referee blows and we're back for the earlier infringement. Penalty advantage was there, so it was a free play for Belvedere. Ronan, that was a lot of they've gone quickly, excuse me Ronan, I'll come back to you in a second. They've drove for the line, referee says it's short. Belvedere continue to play, slow it up, and they've gone over. And here we go, the first try of the game. Belvedere very happy, Belvedere fans very happy, the coaches will be happy with how they applied pressure there and didn't panic at all. Ronan, I imagine you'll be very happy too with how Belvedere took it into the red zone, continued to apply pressure, didn't panic, and eventually got their just rewards.
Yeah, you can see there in previous plays a lot of unforced errors there when they were passing out to the back, so kept it in the forwards there in that wind, and certainly paid dividends there to keep it tight.
Certainly one for the forwards highlight reel. I didn't see the number of the player who scored, unfortunately. Maybe Ronan did, but
I think it could have been Stennon Coakley there, number 7, I think.
There's a
yeah,
and a chance here now for Captain Jed Thornley to extend the lead. And that's gone over. Belvedere take the lead 7-3 in this game. As the initial break came from number 9 for Belvedere, Michael McGrath. The forwards took over then. Tadhg, how do you think Castleknock are going to react to this? Are they going to look just to apply pressure, or can just trust the process, I suppose, and continue the game they're playing?
I think trust the process, back to basics. Belvedere very physical there. They carried it up and duly rewarded with a try there. So hopefully now we can just put our stamp on the game for a little bit.
That's a massive tackle coming in from 2 Castleknock players. An absolutely thumping tackle there, and you can hear the crowd appreciate it, and that's exactly the response you want, especially from your forwards coming up into this game. We could see that Belvedere wanted to run the ball and they didn't want to kick, but that pressure from Castleknock forced them to kick the ball. Again, it held up in the wind, and now Castleknock have gone from conceding a score and have gone from Belvedere trying to just run the ball and transition into attack to now having probably one of the best footholds they've had in the game now, just outside the Belvedere 22. Tadhg, you must be very pleased with the reaction there. A massive hit coming in from 2 of the forwards there to apply the pressure and to start the game. But now they have a fantastic platform inside, deep inside the Belvedere half.
Peter McIntaggart, I think, made the initial tackle there, and very good clearance off his weaker side as well, I must add there, from the Belvedere 12, I think. But we've had a bit of success in the line out, so hopefully that's the platform we need.
Good footwork there at the tail of that line out. Belvedere think they're over it, but they're not. And Castleknock's chance now to apply some pressure in this half. That's an absolutely massive carry coming in from number 4, Lorcan McKenna. And another big positive carry coming in there too. Those positive carries are very important for Castleknock. It forces Belvedere just to come backwards and can't get their defensive line set. We can see an overlap out left, and the ball's finally flashed out. We see a chance here. That's number 12 for Castleknock, Peter McIntaggart, just carrying that ball up there. Plenty of pressure coming on now from Castleknock. And just look at the hits that are coming in this game. Absolutely massive hits coming in. That's a nice tip-on pass there. I think it was John Ozani who ended up carrying the ball in the end. And now, bit of space out to the right. And it's just knocked on by Castleknock first. 2 knock-ons there. First one coming from Castleknock, second from Belvedere. And although Tadhg, it didn't actually work out in the end, that's some fantastic play and pressure from Castleknock to keep Belvedere not only in their own 5, but under constant pressure too.
Yeah, very positive play. Just slightly different to what we've seen before. More patient and carrying with numbers rather than in isolation on their own. So I'd imagine the coach would be very happy. Just the final product there just didn't deliver. Slight knock on there from Finn O'Connor, I think.
Finn O'Connor at number 15. His brother is also in the team today, number 10, Ross O'Connor. Again, just I suppose the execution just left them down, but the actual decision making and the play making was absolutely fantastic. It's number 4 there, I think Lorcan McKenna just getting a bit of treatment there. He made the initial break that allowed and that gave Castleknock that platform in order to play. Ronan, I think it's fair to say Belvedere are probably a bit relieved with that first knock on and getting a chance to clear their lines now here.
Certainly, and then also that cover and tackle from Ivor Cuddy, the 15 there, just as Castleknock were breaking to the left and that overlap. So I think if they get out of this safe and sound, they'll be quite happy.
So a scrum to Belvedere. 27 going on 28, or excuse me, 25 and a bit, going on 26 minutes gone in this game. It's 2 different clocks there, excuse me for that mistake. Stadium clock is just a little bit different to the TV one. But Belvedere now looks like they're just going to crash and then get their footwork. That's a massive scrum coming in though from Castleknock, and it puts Belvedere under huge pressure. Castleknock will be absolutely delighted with that scrum, and it now forces Belvedere to clear in a way they didn't want to. You could see that Belvedere were looking to crash up just on the right hand side and maybe give them the angle to kick into that wind, but instead that ball kind of spills out the back. They're forced to play. Number 9, Michael McGrath, is forced to give that pass, and as a result Castleknock now have ball in hand. Ronan, they won't be too happy now with that exit, I don't think.
No, Louis gone there at 10 exiting, and I suppose they're trying to get it across to Jed Tormey with the right boot at 12, so 2 options there for him, but under serious pressure.
Castleknock work that line out well, get up and take and set their maul really well. That maul's moving early doors. We saw a lot of the Belvedere maul early on. We can see, I think it's Spicer fighting across the top. Those long arms of his, I suppose there's no point being 6'10" if you're not going to use it, but Castleknock keep moving. The crowd are happy with this, to keep edging towards that try line. That's a fantastic maul from Castleknock. One that I think the forwards will put on their highlight reel at the end of the season. They break out and get the carry, and they get over for a try. That's a fantastic response from Castleknock. Number 1, I think, or number 2, excuse me, Gavin Murphy O'Kane coming up off the ground with that try, or for that try. A fantastic response, Tadhg, from Castleknock to go down from their own end to suddenly we have the replay here. A fantastic maul, but an absolutely lovely reach from Gavin Murphy O'Kane to get over that line, and an unbelievable response after conceding that try to Belvedere just about 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, personally I'd say Gavin would be very happy himself. He's been dogged with injuries, missed out on a Dublin minor run, and just personally for him, I'm delighted that he got the touchdown there. He swiveled around the back, but as you said, it is a great response to what was a beautiful try up the other end from Belvedere as well.
So now Castleknock have a chance to lengthen the lead. Again, number 8, Danny Rowan, and captain, is just lining up this kick. A tough touchline conversion, especially with the wind that we have here. Crowd quietens down, bar one singing section. Rowan smacks it, and that's a fantastic touchline conversion. Absolutely fantastic from the number 8, who was not only involved in the initial scrum, but also the line-out maul that got them to score, and then converts the try as well. To have a number 8, especially if in 5th year, where he has another year to go as well, Tadhg, you must be very pleased with his development.
Yeah, very pleased. They've been tracking him all the way up. He's captain material as well, so I'm very happy there with Danny. I knew distance wouldn't be an issue, but to get the accuracy, very good and very pleased, because as you say, they're playing with a strong wind, so it's nice to just add a few more points to the score.
There's a box coming in from Sam Wisniewski, testing the Belvedere back 3. 10-7 here now if you've just joined us, approaching half an hour in the final game of this round of the Leinster School Senior Cup. Belvedere looking to get in over that ball, and they managed to clean it up. That's fine. Nice tip pass on there. It's chosen to carry there instead. That's number 3, I believe, John Cadigan taking the carry there, or excuse me, number 3, Carl Brennan taking the carry there. And there's just a player down on the ground at the moment. It's number 15, Ivor Cuddy, just getting a bit of attention. I didn't actually see what happened, but he looks to be in a bit of pain and holding that right leg. Play continues at the moment. Belvedere continue to have possession. A couple of players now on the ground on the far side for Castleknock, slowly getting up. It looked like certainly a big collision. And Belvedere happy just to slow this ball down now. And that's a massive penalty to Castleknock, especially considering that Belvedere had possession nigh on 2 minutes ago. Castleknock managed to exit their own half off the restart. Now a penalty in the Belvedere half. Tadhg, I imagine, given the wind, they'll either probably have a cut because Danny Ronan can kick them, or they'll probably go for the line out.
He seems to be on the ground at the moment, so maybe kicking for touch could be the option if he's not feeling up for a kick. But it's a war of attrition. There's bodies strewn on the ground. Hopefully nothing too serious.
Yeah, we could see it there in the last few phases of play. About half an hour into this game, it's just bodies getting hit left, right and centre. Big hits coming in. We saw a massive one off a restart earlier on from Castleknock, and that kind of typifies the game we're having here. Both sides just going for it, not afraid to, I suppose, just put their bodies on the line for the game. Early on, there were a lot of exits from both sides, especially when they got into the 22, but it's kind of difficult to say, Tadhg, who's actually on top of this game. Both teams, I know one team is leading the other, but both teams just seem to be playing a lot of good rugby. They have a good set piece. They're both pretty much, it seems to be the win that's the difference in this half so far.
Yeah, Belvedere attacking, they kind of can move the ball and move it around the park as they please, and Castleknock as well, they seem to be doing the same. So as we kind of guessed, it would probably come down to one score. Belvedere be, I'd say, happy with the score at the moment, provided that because they played against such a strong wind, but they will be under pressure here now.
We can also see the physicality coming from both tries. The first one came from a series of pick and goes. The second one coming from a big line-out maul then from Castleknock too. Both sets of forwards trying to put their own stamp on the game, and obviously the physicality is going to tell. We have a player coming off the pitch now. Number 23 is going to enter the fray for Belvedere. Senan Hogan's coming on, and it seems like, I think it's number 15, Ivor Cuddy, who's being helped off the pitch.
Yeah, Senan Hogan can play all across the back three, but probably better known as a fullback, but hopefully Ivor Cuddy will be alright. He's recovered well from that early mishap with the ball, but played well other than that, especially in this wind.
A shame to see a player leave the pitch any time for injury, but the game goes on, and Castleknock look to kick to touch. Almost kept in there by Belvedere, but it manages to get into touch. Now Castleknock have a fantastic attacking opportunity on the Belvedere 5 metre line. Their last try came from as a result of a line-out maul. They're now closer again, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Are Belvedere going to go up, or are they going to stay down and look to blitz through that maul? Are they going to give the front and try and use the touchline as an extra defender? Castleknock walk in. They're happy to take it in and around the middle. Not a great take, but the ball comes back, and it just, Castleknock now will look to settle and just get their game set back up. I imagine we're probably going to see plenty of forward carries coming here. That's a nice wide one coming from number 5, Kwaja, I think. Big carry taken in there again, but the tackle's not made. Belvedere now just looking to weather the storm, see can they get the ball and just get out of here. It's a nice little jink there coming in from number 15, Finn O'Connor, a 6th year in Castleknock College. Another big carry. Just look at the physicality of the game. Huge carries coming in. A nice tip on pass there, and we're on here. The ball just goes to deck, unfortunately. Castleknock started this movement on the 5 metre line. They're now just inside the Belvedere 22. Belvedere will be delighted, especially now that they've got the penalty and a chance to clear their lines. Big defensive shift from Belvedere, their own, and starting on their own 5 metre. I know passes didn't go to hand, but I suppose pressure and defence can also be thanked for that. Yeah,
serious pressure there from Belvedere, and great defence, and I suppose they're hoping to kick the ball. There's 3 minutes left on the clock here in this half, so if they can get up and get another score before the end, they'll be quite happy going in at half time.
The stadium clock says 35, but the television clock is the one we're going by. It says 32, ticking on 32 and a half minutes. Belvedere going in at half time 10-7, 3 points behind in this win, Ronan. I don't think they'll mind that too much.
Yeah, I suppose it all depends on what way they play the wind in the second half. Sometimes the wind doesn't actually play to your advantage either, so we'll see how it goes in that second half.
Just a Castleknock player down, just getting a bit of attention now. A bit of respite for these players. It's number 5 on the ground there, Valley Quaja. Just a bit of a chance for both sets of players now to, I suppose, just get a breather. Hugely physical encounter. It'll be interesting to see when the subs come on for both teams. Substitutes these days have just been used to finish games and see out games and put a spin on the game. And here for Castleknock, we can see number 19, Conan Lennon, coming on. I think that's number 5 coming off, Val Quaja. So he'll play no more part in this game. Just like the Belvedere substitution a minute ago for their fullback. It's a shame to see players coming off due to injury. But again, the game goes on and Belvedere now have a line out in between their own 10 and 22. Their line out was a huge weapon early on in the half. We haven't really seen it since, so it'll be interesting to see what happens now off this one. They go up the front, but again, just doesn't go the way they want it. And that's a big hit coming in from Castleknock. Belvedere recover. Lovely little offload there coming in. Belvedere happy to play those little offloads and tip passes early on. And here we can see them looking to utilise their back line now. A good run from number 12, Jed Tormney. Carries well. Gets some much needed ground here for Belvedere. They're still inside their own half. Again, difficult to kick into this wind, so not surprising to see them play with ball in hand and look to carry. We see Spicer now looking to carry this next ball. A huge man, but that's a massive tackle coming in from Castleknock. I think it's number 7 and the hooker, so Luke Brady and Gavin Murphy O'Kane with that tackle on Spicer. Again, Spicer offering himself for the next carry. 2 involvements in 3 phases. A big carry again, but another good tackle coming in from Castleknock, but that is a positive carry from Spicer there. Belvedere just gaining ground bit by bit with every carry. That's a huge positive tackle coming in from Luke Brady for Castleknock. Lovely little tip on pass there and a little spin, but again Castleknock weathered that storm well. Right wing for Belvedere College, Patrick O'Grady just hugging that touchline. And that's a good carry from Belvedere. Again, usually you'd see teams looking to kick the ball maybe, especially with the space back in the Castleknock half, but when you're making positive carries like that, when you're playing against a wind like that too, it can be a very difficult thing to do. About 20 seconds left now in this half. Belvedere will look to hold on and hopefully create a score of some sort, be it 3, 5 or 7 to finish off that half. That's a lovely wide pass. You could see it just get held up in the wind that small bit. And again, if that wind wasn't there, it would probably be a flatter pass and that space would be utilised a little bit better out in the wing. But I mean, when you're throwing passes into that wind, there's not much you can do but put the ball into space. That's a turnover now for Castleknock. The clock winds down into this half, and that's a penalty too for Castleknock. Ref determined to stop the game here, explain the infringement. Yeah, I think it's a high tackle on Spicer, or by Spicer I should say. Just has to work. Yeah, I suppose everything is going to be high when you're 6'10". The referee calls that high tackle. Castleknock, I think, asking what's left in the game, and a couple of players down now, just looking for a bit of treatment. Ronan, I think Castleknock will be very happy to go in at the half. Only 3 points at half time, though. I don't think Belvedere will mind too much either.
No, a lot of 6-years on our bench there as well. I'm counting 4, 5, 6-years on the bench, so we'll be hoping that they come on in a bomb squad-esque fashion now with 15, 20 minutes left.
And Tadhg Castleknock going in at half time, especially with the wind. I imagine everything is pretty much going to plan, bar maybe the couple of, or the early substitutions they were forced to make. But I think they'll be happy enough, especially with their defence inside their own red zone. And the fact that, you know, early on a couple of kicks went astray, but they managed to figure out the win too. Yeah,
it took them a little bit of time to settle, probably longer than the coaches wished. That substitution could be a temporary, it could be a blood. So Valley Quaj has gone off, and Conan Lennon, the Maynooth man, has come on. He's a 4th year. He's very physical, and he will not let the side down.
Player down now, just getting a little bit of treatment. I'm struggling to see what it is.
I think it's Lorcan McKenna. He's gone through a great body of work so far, and I'd say the players will be delighted to get to half time. Castleknock players probably want a few more points on the board, but they'll take what they can get now.
I think this could be last play, and of course you can kick the touch off a penalty, so the ref happy to play on. But I imagine the next time the ball goes dead, it will, unless it's a penalty, it probably will be half time. Here we see Vaj Quaja coming back on, so it was a temporary substitution. He's back just in time, hopefully, to put in a bit of an imprint in this line out for Castleknock too.
Yeah,
huge chance.
So Valley was patched up there by Ro Fallon, who is an ex-student and has played out on that pitch before in his time as well, so he's well looked after.
That ball didn't go to plan now for Castleknock, and Belvedere now have possession. Both teams willing just to continue to play. Neither happy for the half-time whistle to come, which of course is great for us fans and commentators watching. But now I think, yeah, Captain Jed Tormey is happy just to put that ball out. Half-time here now at Energia Stadium. Castleknock lead 10-7 at half-time, despite playing with a very, very strong wind. We see Belvedere running off the pitch and Castleknock coming off too. A fantastic half there from both teams. Ronan, very physical. It'll be interesting to see if that physicality can live on.
Yeah, it's a serious tackle count there, even for both sides. Both sides willing to play, and not a huge amount of kicking, because I think the wind is just going to cause havoc with any of the kicks, really. So really, really good performance there from both teams.
So that's it for half-time, folks. We'll be back on now after the second half. Coming up, of course, on Irish Rugby Live, we've the quarter-final draw streamed straight away after this game live from the pitch. And on Saturday the 19th of February at half 2, Greystones RFC will be playing Belfast Harlequins. You can catch both the stream after this game, and of course that game on Saturday on irishrugbylive.ie. Welcome back, folks, to the second half of this last game of the first round of the Leinster School Senior Cup between Belvedere College and Castleknock College. Castleknock lead 10-7 coming into the second half. Just waiting for kick-off now. They'll be playing into a very strong wind, and not only that, as you can see at the top of your screen, a very dark cloud coming in from the Bective end. Kick-off starts, and it's caught there by Senan Hogan, who came in due to an early injury there to Ivor Cuddy, the 15 for Belvedere. And Castleknock now will be probably forced to run that little bit more of the ball in this half due to playing against the wind. As we can see now, straight away they're into their structure, looking to play the game. That's David Dowse with a big carry there. And Castleknock now will be forced to play rather than kick. Belvedere, when they get the ball, especially in their own half, they'll have the luxury of that wind behind them that's blowing towards the Wesley end. But again, we'll see how that goes when and if they get the ball in the next couple of seconds. That's a lovely break coming in there from the Castleknock 9. Sam Wisniewski, and another big carry there coming in there now as well from Ozani. Castleknock getting a good platform in this game early on. That ball probably could have been spun wide, but they decided to keep it in hand. But it's still on here now if Castleknock decide to move it. It's good play there coming in from Finn O'Connor, looking just to square his hips and get level with the sidelines, or get level with the touch line, or the try line I should say, third time lucky, so he's not taking up the space outside him. Castleknock slowing it down now this small bit more. That's a big carry coming in from Lorcan McKenna, who was getting a bit of treatment there just before half time, but he seems to be full of life again and happy to play. Belvedere with hands on the ball. Referee decides that they do have hands on the ball, and now we'll see Ronan just how much use they get to make of the wind in the second half.
Yeah, Jed Tormany would have a fairly big boot. He's right-footed, and you expect to see him put it into the corner here with this wind.
Big wind behind him and a big boot to go, and he opts to kick to the left-hand side, where there's actually the winger's probably a bit too flat there, and the ball bounces into touch. Good play there from Jed Tormany, Ronan, to get as much distance, I suppose, on that ball as he could, rewarding his forwards' hard work.
Yeah, and with that maul in the first half, you'd expect to see them go to it again here in the 22.
Castleknock just compounding a couple of errors there, giving away the penalty, and then probably not getting deep enough to compensate for that wind. You can see the touch judge's flag there, just giving a highlight that the wind is just still picking up bit by bit. It's going to be another obstacle for Castleknock in this half. Slow ball there, slow throw I should say, but eventually it comes straight up the front. A good bullet throw there coming in from Gavin Murphy O'Kane, or excuse me, from David Dowse I should say. Apologies. Castleknock folding out well in defence here now, and they look well set. Plenty of time there. That ball's out according to Castleknock and the referee, and they're happy to play. Looking to get in over that ball, but failed to do so, and Belvedere continued to pound away. That's a good turnover. I think it was Lorcan McKenna there turning that ball over and forcing a knock on. So now Castleknock will have a scrum in their own 22 and have a chance to exit now, Tadhg.
Yeah, they'll have a long way to go. Great kick there from Belvedere, put them under pressure. Castleknock not really set up on time for that penalty, so I don't think the coach will be too happy with that. Good line out from Belvedere, but again, just a knock on or a turnover there, and the passmen from Castleknock in the corner helping the referee make that decision, I'd imagine, as well.
Well, there's no point. It's a great decision according to some of the crowd, not so much to the others, but I suppose there's no point having a crowd if you don't try and sway the man in the middle. Castleknock now will have a scrum and a chance to exit, but again, you can see from the flags around the place that it's blowing very heavily towards the Wesley end. I think Castleknock are just going to see how strong this wind is now as they try and kick into it. They of course enjoyed the benefit of that wind in the first half, but of course what is your friend in the first half becomes your enemy in the second, and they're going to try and exit here as soon as this scrum takes place. Both teams setting up. It'll be interesting to see, Tadhg, can they continue the physicality that was there in the first half?
Yeah, very hard to imagine that they could sustain that for another 35. It was a pure war of attrition, but we'll see how it goes.
That's a big scrum there from Belvedere trying to upset it, but Castleknock looking to play, going against the grain of as the scrum went around. And now they'll probably just get their structure in play, and we'll either see a box kick here from the 9. I think we will. So Sam Wisniewski kicking that ball. You can just see how strong that wind is. While it hit touch, I think he's only made maybe 6-7 yards off that. So Castleknock still under a bit of pressure here, Tadhg, despite clearing their ball.
Yeah, it looked a little like he might have rushed that kick. Probably could have had a few more seconds to himself, but the wind is a massive bearing there, so look, I think he'd be just happy he found touch as well.
Yeah, I think so too. We can see Belvedere here lining up just to the left of your screen. When it pans out, you'll see them just lined up there in almost an arrowhead formation. So as this maul goes, we'll see how it goes first. Number 8 for Belvedere now in the back line too, Alex Usanoff. He's probably going to look to carry now in a second once this maul stops, but that's another good maul from Belvedere, and if I'm that 9, I'm telling them to keep that ball in there all day till it fails. Starting to break down now. We can see Jed Tormey standing at second receiver and Usanoff there just outside him, but of course they have to run in now just to resource that ruck. Castleknock think they've hands on, but they don't, and that's Spicer with the big carry now coming in. That's another big positive contribution from the second row in this game, and you know, he's grown into this game directly from the off. That ball's gone back, and I think Castleknock could have their hands on it. It certainly looks like they do, and that's a massive turnover, Tadhg, and another chance now for them to hit touch and try and get out of here. Hopefully,
yeah, they're sustaining a lot of pressure there, and that ball, will it find touch? Yeah, they're not going to make too many yards kicking today, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's at the same time though, it's just get the ball and get set again and look to trust, I suppose, their line-out defence, but at the same time, giving the ball to Belvedere, and they have a very good maul so far, so while they are, I suppose, giving with one hand and getting the ball off the pitch, they're also, you know, giving to Belvedere with the other hand and giving them the chance to maul again. Belvedere walk into this maul, take the front. Again, Castleknock managed to come up trumps here. That's a big carry coming in from Gavin Murphy O'Kane. Very busy player, lots of contributions, little big moments, I suppose, as they're called. You know, maybe nothing that's on the highlight reel, but big moments that help sway a game as that sway goes on. 2 in the backfield now here for Belvedere, covering any kicks that might come. Almost a 13-2 defence. Castleknock keeping hands on the ball, and that's a lovely little offload here to Castleknock number 12, Peter McIntaggart, he had a big tackle early in the first half, I don't know if you remember, and again, in a day that's not a day for flashing the ball out wide to the backs, he's having lots of little involvements in the game too. Castleknock keeping hands on the ball, and again, no more than maybe 2 passes going out wide. Good footwork and good strength there from Castleknock to make sure that everything's coming up trumps. Good line speed there to tackle John Ozani. Ball coming out wide, nice pass off 9, nice tip pass. That's an absolute monster of a hit coming in from Spicer. An absolutely huge hit coming in, but a lovely tips line, a lovely break, probably one of the first breaks of the game. Good cover tackle coming in there. I think it was the Belvedere hooker, David Dowse maybe, who made that tackle, that cover tackle. But it's probably one of the only line breaks we've seen in the game so far. That's a good carry from Gavin Murphy O'Kane, and again Lorcan McKenna with yet another contribution. Belvedere slow to roll away, but the referee's happy. Again, Castleknock looking for those little tip lines and making hay off. Again, little tip line, but instead choosing to carry. Castleknock now with a good foothold inside the Belvedere half, and you can hear the Castleknock crowd really enjoying their team and everything that they're doing and their efforts. Belvedere now set in defence. That's a big carry coming in again from Gavin Murphy O'Kane. He's been so busy in this game. Lovely little pull back pass into the second layer of attack there. Nice quick ruck there for Castleknock, and again they're looking to play little tips pass and a little show and go from Finn O'Connor, who's come into the back line. 15 looking to come in, and Danny Rowan takes control of that and offloads it to Peter McIntaggart again. Castleknock with lots of possession, making good ground in their carries, just trying to break down this Belvedere defence bit by bit. Another carry off 9 here. Pretty sure that's John Cadigan who had that carry, and bit of space here out the left. But that's a massive tackle coming in from number 14 for Belvedere, Andre Ryan, a 4th year, who played JCT rugby this September just gone. Belvedere with their hands on the ball, and that's an absolutely huge turnover for number 8, Alex Usanoff. They've gone through an awful lot of pressure there, managed to get their hands on the ball. Castleknock made plenty of ground, but Ronan Belvedere didn't panic at all, and happy to bide their time and get in over that ball when the opportunity arose.
No, really strong defence there. The momentum was shifted back to Castleknock, and it was great to see them there to stop that momentum, and they looked to kick to the corner here, I'd say, again, and go again with that maul.
Alex Usanoff just watched that tackle and then won the shoulder battle to get in over that ball. Referee awards him duly. Tadhg, it's a very strong start from Castleknock despite being against the wind. They're making lots of ground.
Yeah.
Their carries are going real well. They're looking for the little tip passes. They've came to play in the second half.
I think if they got this kind of a start with the wind at their backs, they might have penetrated a little bit further. But the line speed from Belvedere has been very good, very strong, noticeable, and defensively they're well set up. Castleknock a little bit narrow at times, and just not asking enough questions just yet.
And of course, when you complement one team attack, I suppose you have to complement the defence of the other. It's been that kind of game. 10-7, 43 minutes gone here, approaching 44 at Energia Park in this game between Belvedere College and Castleknock College. Both teams very physical, and as soon as play resumes, I think we're going to see number 12, Jed Tormley, kick the touch again. Big boot with the wind at his back. Why wouldn't he? Give his team good field position and look to implement their maul again. Both teams' mauls, Tadhg, have actually been very good so far. We saw Belvedere's early on in the game, but Castleknock certainly came into their own in the maul too. Belvedere search for that line now, and that's a good touch finder into the Castleknock crowd as they applaud the person who managed to catch the ball and throw it down to the ball boy. All action here at this school's game between crowd involvements and what's going on in the pitch. It looks like, Ronan, there's been a change in the Belvedere team as well, but there's no number on the back of one player. He's involved in the line-out, just coming in to lift at the front here, turn to jump.
That is Eddie Reese. Has actually been on since the start. He's number 4 there.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Our Mead man, but he hasn't had a. Maybe we didn't have a jersey big enough for him.
Must have just, must have lost the number somewhere.
A strong maul there from Belvedere.
Again, they look to settle down now. Big carry coming in from the tight head, Carl Brennan. They reset, and again, just looking to get their structure in play. There's no real panic. We can see number 9, Michael McGrath, just ordering his forwards around the corner. Good line speed there, coming from John Ozani from Castleknock. Makes a good positive tackle, doesn't allow much ground to come in. Jed Tormley spots a gap, half gap, comes through it. A nice break there. Look at the strength of him to continue through that. That's a fantastic run, but not only that, when he makes contact, he looks to make sure it's a nice positive carry. Another positive carry coming in from Belvedere here now, and they seem to have their tails up that little bit, Ronan. You must be very pleased with how they're going here. Another big carry from Spicer, but a positive tackle. Offload coming in that tackle. Spicer just a bit ginger on the ground, just getting up a bit gingerly there. It was a big hit. It's on here now, left. Lovely little loop pass. Belvedere looking to attack that touchline, and it's a fantastic cover tackle into touch by Castleknock. Like we said a minute ago, Ronan, while one attack is very good, the defence also steps up here too. It's kind of hard to take your eye off the game.
It is. It can really swing either way here. I think the next big score will kind of put paid to the game, but really strong attack there from Belvedere and making yards all the time. Spicer, as you said, stepping up a little bit gently out of that tackle there, but looks like he's got back into that line out. He'll be a bit of a totem there for the rest of the game, I'd say.
We saw the replay there, that tackle there, and just as that replay was happening, number 18 Billy Dowling and number 21 Luke Donoghue comes on for Castleknock College. That's the end of the game there for, I think, number 9 Sam Wisniewski, and also number, I'll see it in a second as that player turns around, I'm sure, number 3 John Cadigan. Castleknock take that line out and look to get their structure in place. That's a strong carry, and they'll probably look to exit now in a second. You can see their backs just shaping up here now to probably take that kick, and good line speed from Belvedere to put pressure on the kicker, and very much like we said in the first half, or sorry, early in the second half I should say, they managed to get the ball off the pitch, but they're still giving a good platform to Belvedere here now to utilise their line out. Belvedere, of course, will probably be happy, Ronan, with that outcome.
Yeah, I think so. You can even see the line speed there from the Belvedere backs. They're getting up towards that. The player kicking the ball actually slowing down, knowing that even when he kicks, he's not going to get too far with it against that wind. So they're not even chasing it hard.
It's not really a day for the wingers now, to be fair. And I suppose if you're a forward, you're going to be warm. But there, even number 14, Patrick O'Grady, we could see him just trying to keep warm in this near touchline. Another maul penalty for Belvedere. I wonder how many before the ref says that, you know, a card's going to come soon. You'd imagine that Castleknock are going to have to, I suppose, smarten up in their maul D. But again, Belvedere happy to utilise that maul and just having a chat here about what to do. Big wind, but will they offer points? They do. So 10-7 here, Castleknock lead. A chance now for Belvedere to level the game. I suppose, Tadhg, it's fair to say that Castleknock should be probably worried about their maul defence.
Yeah, I was thinking both sides were, discipline was very good, but there is an element of that creeping in now around the maul. Just the Belvedere pack is fairly formidable. The lineouts are going well for them. So discipline, it's going to come down to discipline now for Castleknock. Yeah.
Captain Jed Tormey just lining up the kick here. Chance to level the game. Again, strong wind behind him. Spicer's just getting a bit of treatment to the left of your screen, but he seems to be okay, and plenty of noise from the crowd. Welcome to schools rugby, folks. Schools rugby, probably the most intimidating place you can go, bar France. Tormey kicks this, he watches that go, and it just drifts to the left of the post and wide. So Castleknock still ahead in this game. I think the Belvedere crowd may have thinks he got it initially, but I think that noise will die down when they realise it's going to be a 22 dropout to Castleknock. The correct decision, I think, to go for the points and try and level the game early on and to get back on a level footing. The execution let them down, but that shouldn't excuse the decision by any means. Castleknock now looking to exit, and they exit long. Probably the longest kick we've seen into the wind so far, which is pretty surprising. I think it's taken us by surprise up here in the commentary box as well. And they're wrapped up well here. Castleknock will be delighted with that exit. And now they're defending inside the Belvedere half. But unfortunately, as I said, call a commentator's curse. Here comes another penalty to Belvedere. I imagine they'll go from here down the line and look to utilise their maul again. Tadhg, there's a Castleknock player down on that far side. Can you make out who it is?
Dara Enright, the right wing.
The right wing, Dara Enright, just looks in a bit of pain there.
Yeah, I think he was penalised maybe for not rolling away, but he might have been in a position to roll away if he's incapacitated there.
Well, the referee's job's never easy, but
no.
I suppose if you're in the way, you're in the way, and the ref doesn't really care if you're injured or not. But on this
plenty
occasion,
of depth on the bench as well. I know there were a lot of people disappointed they weren't getting the nod on Thursday. So we've seen Luke Donoghue introduced for Sam and Billy Dowling in for I think John Cadigan, and Will Hennessy is he's 2 years of SCT under his belt already, so he'd come in at the wing for Dara if he's in trouble. So plenty of backup there.
There's Belvedere's Eddie Reese is leaving the pitch. The Meath man will have no more involvement in the rest of the game. He was a busy player throughout the game. We can also see Spicer getting a bit of attention. He's the one with no jersey on the middle of the pitch. He must be absolutely freezing, but all is such is the joys of having to get attention on the pitch. An attritional game, Ronan, it has to be said, and I think it's fair to say that Belvedere are going to go down the line again, get their maul going, and probably look for yet another penalty. And if that's the case, I imagine Captain Jed Tormey is going to have a word with the ref and say, listen, how many penalties do you want before a yellow card comes?
Yeah, and you can imagine they're going to start carrying in close quarters as well, trying to force that penalty. There's been a lot of unforced errors and knock-ons and that kind of stuff as well, so I think they'll be looking to keep it tight here if they do get this off the line out.
It was an excellent 22 dropout from Castleknock to get us into this half, I suppose, into the Belvedere half. It was the longest kick into the wind. I'd say as soon as he kicked it, the wind must have just stopped dead because it was blowing as soon as he kicked it. Sky's brightening up a little bit now here. I don't think we're going to see the hail that looked like it was threatening to ruin the game. But as soon as Spicer now finishes getting a bit of treatment, we'll be hopefully back on track. 49 minutes gone here now in this game between Belvedere and Castleknock. Castleknock led at half time 10-7. They're still in the lead 10-7, just going on 15 minutes into this half. Promises to be a very, very physical 20 minutes, Ronan, to finish off the game, especially that there's only a score between them.
Certainly, I think probably the most worrying thing for us up here is that we only have one jersey that actually fits Alan Spicer, so I'm really hoping he has another jersey.
Only one jersey that fits a man who's only 16 years of age. I hate to see him next year when he's getting into sixth year. But the jersey's on anyway, and I suppose it's been painted on at this stage, but it's on anyway and we're ready to go now. Jed Tormey's going to pump his team down the touchline, look to find touch and employ that line-out maul that we spoke about so often in this game so far for Belvedere. Touch Judd puts up the flag. We can see from the flag that the wind is just slowly dying down that small, but it's still billowing, but nowhere near as strong as it was a couple of minutes ago, which is going to make the throw of David Dowse that small bit easier, maybe take a little bit of pressure off. Plenty of moving on. It's a short throw to the front, but it's knocked on sadly, and Castleknock at the ball. Maybe a good decision considering the wind they've been battling all day and where they were, but I would have thought, Ronan, considering the line-out maul superiority they had so far and the fact that they were threatening a card, that they probably would have went for the maul again.
Yeah, strange decision. You'd be even thinking just throw it to 2, get it on the ground again, and start going and try and force that penalty. But very strange decision. 2 years ago, Castleknock caught us with 2 of the similar lineouts, and maybe they were just trying to exact some revenge on that front.
Maybe so. Castleknock now again with a chance to clear their lines, and Castleknock have spent a good majority of this game in and around their own 22 so far, and every time they get out of here they'll look to exit. Will Hennessy is on the pitch now as well, or getting ready to come onto the pitch I should say, excuse me. He's just on the touchline waiting for probably the next break and play. That's a fine carry coming up, and the physicality of this game has been unbelievable so far. Castleknock just a little bit of in and out running there, nice little tip line coming around, and now we're finally getting to see a bit of speed and strength at the backs. That's a fantastic carry from number 10 Ross O'Connor, and here we go, we see another big strong carry coming from Danny Ronan. Pace of the game picking up slightly here. Lovely little tip line pass there, and that's a fantastic little break there. The pass goes, we see Castleknock College's number 14 getting outside his man, and that's going to be a fantastic try for Dara Enright. Castleknock going absolutely bananas here beside us. A fantastic try. I think they may go TMO if they had it. They'd probably go TMO in the middle of the pitch, but tries given, and that's what you want, Tadhg. When your players finally get a chance to shine. Dara Enright, excuse me, he's had a quiet game so far because the ball hasn't got to him, but it's when he gets the ball you want to make those moments count.
Yeah, and he was nearly caught. I'd say Jeremy Staunton's going to be very happy with that. He probably would have liked to seen a lot more of it in the first half, but Belvedere played a really strong first half, and Dara's just coming off there now, and Will Hennessy, who's got 2 years of this competition under his belt, is coming on. But fantastic bit of hands. Maybe a slight forward pass there, we're not sure, but Dara Enright delivered. Yeah, great finish.
And if that's going to be your last involvement in the game, you want to make it count, and Dara Enright certainly did that. Will Hennessy now coming onto the pitch, and he'll have that bit of experience now to finish out this game hopefully. But Dara Rowan now with a chance to extend this lead. Belvedere crowd giving as good as they got in an earlier kick from the Castleknock side. He hits that, it's a fine kick. It's struggling to make it, but it's just that small bit short, and I suppose you can see just how strong that wind is as it just dropped down. That's a fantastic try all the same from Dara Enright. 15-7 now the score. A 2-score game now win it for Belvedere, who's, despite having the wind at their backs nearly 20 minutes into this half, haven't made it count yet. Castleknock, despite the pressure they've been under so far, will be very happy to push 8 points ahead in this game. Heading towards the 53rd minute. Castleknock in a very good position despite being against the wind. A good take, and they're probably just going to look now to reset, get their carrying game back in. Belvedere's physicality has been excellent. That's probably not what you want, especially after scoring a 5-pointer, is to sloppy passes and ball hitting the deck like that, but it's cleaned up well here again. A good carry coming in from Gavin Murphy O'Kane. I don't know how many times we've said his name so far in this game. He's been very, very busy. Castleknock opt to go left and just carry instead. A big double tackle coming in from Belvedere, but it's quick ruck ball for Castleknock, and a lovely little break there for Luke Donoghue. Little half break. Got absolutely smacked in the meantime, but I'm sure if he wins this game he won't feel it tomorrow. That's a fantastic carry coming in from number 18, Billy Dowling. Just getting his team that bit of front foot ball. Belvedere slowing up that ball as best they can here. Good chop tackle coming in there too. Donoghue passing out wide, a nice little chip there. Defence looked on, and it's well taken and well hit at the same time. And as we said so far in this game, you can't compliment an attack without complimenting defence. Castleknock turn it over, and that's a fantastic output for them. They'll make this outcome count now. It's a lovely little half break. I think that was Finn O'Connor on the ball there. The 15 for Castleknock. Ozani with another carry. Very much like the hooker inside him, Gavin Murphy O'Kane. Both him and John Ozani have been very, very busy, but unfortunately he just holds on to the ball for a little bit too long there, and Belvedere will get the rewards. Luke Brady's just on the ground there now. Looks like a bit of cramp and just being stretched out. There's actually a couple of players down. Lorcan McKenna's down as well. You can see him in the blue scrum cap. A lot of players don't often play on 4G pitches, and sometimes it just tends to catch up on them, but with, again, the physicality, there's actually 3 players down with cramp at the moment on the Castleknock side. There's another one on the far side. I think that's Jeez, I don't know. Is it? I can't see who it is actually on the far side with the scrum cap.
Finn O'Connor, is it?
It could be. Could well be. With just the effects of this game starting to show, Tadhg.
Yeah, and do you know, in the lead up, Castleknock had trained on a lot of 4G. They played a few Friday Night Lights matches, and they'd gone to Ashburn as well to play against St Mary's one Saturday as well, one Saturday morning. So they're just feeling the effects here.
And especially on a 4G pitch, it means as well, it's just a lot more running, a lot more chasing, bouncing balls, and just general fitness and having to get over it. But Belvedere put a massive kick now into the Castleknock 5 metre line off that penalty. A huge kick, in fact, considering where that penalty started. And what a platform they have now. 8 points is the lead, and they have a chance now to cut this down. Big pressure now on Castleknock defending this line out. Will they go up and try and read it, or will they stay down and just look to blitz through? It looks like they're setting up to try and read it, but depending where it goes. Belvedere happy to go up the front. That's good line out defence initially from Castleknock. They have to be careful here. They've given away a couple of maul penalties, and judging so far from Belvedere's maul here, we can see why they came in. Just the pressure that Castleknock are under now under this maul. If I'm Belvedere, I'm keeping that ball in and not taking it out. Ronan Duggan beside me here on absolute tenterhooks, about to see what happens. He's up on his tippy toes. That maul is, they have advantage as well off the back of this maul, so you'd have to question the decision that's going to come after. A pick and go comes there. Referee says it's short. Belvedere just getting set again. You can see Castleknock on the line. And that ball gets over. That's a fantastic carry to get over. Much akin to their first try in the first half, just looking to the forwards to eventually get the power. Ronan, you must be absolutely thrilled with that try and that response from Belvedere.
Yeah, a brilliant response there. You could see there was no panic in whatsoever. A very calm response to that breakaway try from Castleknock, and just went back down and really working hard here around the fringes and just getting over. I had that advantage obviously after that maul, but great try in the end. I think it was not too sure who got that down in the end. A forward, no doubt.
A forward, no doubt. I didn't see it myself who got the hand in the end, but we could see that it was just set up as if it was to carry, but instead he just reached out and stuck it down. So a great try, an opportunistic try, I suppose it is. And instead of Jed Tormey now, I think we're going to see Andre Ryan try and extend the lead, or excuse me, not extend the lead, but to try and shorten the lead here. It's 15-12 here now at the moment. Chance to make it a 1 point game. Win behind his back. A silence falls probably for the, well, nearly a silence for the first time in Energia Park.
15-14 as well was the score 2 years ago when these sides met.
And 15-14 it is now. 13 minutes to go in this Leinster School Senior Cup game. Andre Ryan with that kick, a fourth year in Belvedere who played JCT in September, now stepping up to lessen the lead for his team against Castleknock. 15-14, a 1 point game. Tadhg, you said it would come down to a one score game, and so far it looks like you're absolutely dead right. It's down to a 1 point game now.
Yeah.
But Castleknock now, I imagine every team wants to score next, don't get me wrong, but I think it's probably important for Castleknock not to let Belvedere get their tails up.
Yeah, next score very important, and then discipline again. I think Castleknock lucky there on the last one, but Ronan, as you said,
and just
Belvedere went back to the maul, and it paid dividends there. So the two previous times before that they didn't go for it, and Castleknock were rewarded. But Belvedere went back to basics there, and it's a 1 point game.
It was a fine kick from Belvedere to put them in that position. Castleknock played quickly and just looked to exit, but it's back now, and that's Andre Ryan who carries up there, the man who just kicked that conversion. I think that's Jed Tormey struggling to get back into his own back line here. The captain's just put in a huge effort, and that's John Ozani, I think, just on the ground there for Castleknock. A bit of cramp, just the pace of the game and the physicality of the game catching up. That's just a knock on there for Belvedere. A knock on there coming. Don't manage to grab the ball, but sure, look, left blows the whistle, time off for a minute. Couple of players on the ground, and geez, end-to-end stuff here. A big kick coming in from Belvedere, which got the crowd's tails up. Castleknock played quickly, which got their crowd's tails up, and they managed to exit, but suddenly Belvedere transition again. Ronan, 12 minutes left, 11 and a half minutes left, 1 point. You have to say, if you have to watch a game today, you want it to be a game like this, don't you?
Yeah, for a game that's not a high-scoring game, it's still been a cracking game nonetheless. As I said, end-to-end stuff, and plenty of mistakes, but plenty of action as well. Scrum down here now as well. Jed Tormey down there in the midfield. He's just been picked up, so it looks like he's okay.
Both teams feeling the effects of this game so far. The crowd are absolutely loving it. You can probably hear it in the background. Plenty singing from both sets of fans, only a point in it, so anybody's game. It's just about who can make the momentum count now heading in to the last 11 and a half minutes of this game. Castleknock now with the ball. It's going to be fed by Luke Donoghue. Chance now just to play their own game and maybe put a little handle on the game and try and cheese the clock a little bit and just to kill the clock a little bit in order to make their 1 point advantage count. That scrum goes down and straight away the ref decides that it was being pulled down by number 17 Conor Bateman. Referee happy to award Castleknock straight away. Castleknock now with a chance just to get a bit further up the line there. Conor Bateman deemed to be the one to collapse that scrum, but it went down so quickly myself I thought it might just be a reset, but the referee is happy that he found the guilty party, and Castleknock now with a chance. Again, it's also a chance, Tadhg, for both teams just to recover that small bit and I suppose just get ready for the last 10 minutes of what is and what has been an unbelievable contest. That's I think that's hooker Gavin Murphy O'Kane going down for a bit of treatment.
Yeah, I think that Danny Rowan just gave the message there just to calm things down a bit. We've had a frantic couple of minutes there, and I think it's important now that Castleknock just find touch here. I wouldn't be too worried about the distance, but just finding touch is the first port of call anyway. But they'd be delighted to take that bit of pressure off.
That's Gavin
Belvedere be building up a bit of steam there. So
that's Gavin Murphy O'Kane coming off to huge applause. He had a fantastic game, and it's Adam Bretherton coming on now to see out the last 10 minutes. His first involvement in the game is probably going to be a Castleknock line-out. That is a fantastic kick that is deemed to be in touch. Of course, the crowd probably not happy with that, but the law states that a player has to start and doesn't have to start in field. But if you slap it in field, you have to be the one to take it. The crowd not too happy with that, but I think the referee's bang on the money with that one.
Yeah, Gavin Murphy O'Kane gone off there. He left everything out on the field. Just a great performance. And Adam Burton here for his first involvement. So plenty of pressure on poor old Adam here for the first throw.
Of course, pressure is a privilege, and I'm sure Adam's going to enjoy this one. And plenty of movement this line out, just overthrown, but I don't actually think that was the hooker's fault. There was a lack of lift there in that line out, and maybe just the speed was just a bit too much to compensate for what they needed at that moment. Adam Burton getting in over that ball there and putting a bit of pressure on Belvedere, but they kick long, kept in, no problem. St. Vincent's Castleknock College fullback Finn O'Connor takes that, cleans up well, but that's a big turnover, I think, coming in from number 20 for Belvedere College, Michael Carmody. A fantastic turnover that hands huge momentum to Belvedere, especially considering where Castleknock were less than 30 seconds ago, Ronan.
Yeah, cracking turnover there from Carmo. Probably a utility back. And you can see there we've a player down in the midfield there as well, Danny Rand for Castleknock. It looks like Jed Tormey down again with that those hamstrings, 12 for Belvedere.
So again, a couple of players down. Actually, in fact, both captains down at the moment, suffering what looks like a bit of cramp. Just goes to show what both captains put in. We saw a replay there a second ago of Carmody's turnover. Just won that shoulder battle. Just waited for a moment and just got in over that ball. Carmody and number 8, Alex Usanoff. Couple of big turnovers early on, or so far in this game for both of them. It must come from sharing the same haircut, I'm not too sure. But it's certainly done no damage so far in this game. Belvedere now in the Castleknock half. Ronan, it looks like they're going to go for points here, considering they're only down by a point, and if they miss they get the ball back with 10 minutes left, or just under 10 minutes left. It's probably the right decision.
Yeah, it probably is the right decision, but we saw in the Ireland-France game the right decision is often decided after the game, you know. We're going here looking to tip the ball over. 10 minutes to go, as he said, get the ball back if it goes wrong, and you get the ball back if it goes right, so hopefully it'll go right.
Number 19, Conan Lennon, coming onto the pitch now for Castleknock College. His first involvement is going to watch a kick to post. Just a little chat here with the referee to see what the crack is, and perhaps he's not too happy. That's number 7 for Castleknock College, Luke Brady.
I think he's actually gone on a captain there. Is Danny Rowan gone off?
Danny Rowan has gone off. Didn't see that. So big involvement for Danny Rowan in that game. Couple of big kicks too. But now it's the chance for Andre Ryan to kick another couple of points. He's 2 points kicked now earlier in the game, converting Belvedere's last try. big win behind him, a chance to add another 3 and give his team a 2-point lead heading into the last 8 minutes or so of this competition. No crowd silence here. You'll take every advantage you can get, I suppose. Andrew Ryan steps up, lines it up. That's a big kick and it just drifts left. So the Castleknock College quite happy with that, but I don't know what they're after doing there, to be honest with you. And the ref has blown it. It looked like they tried to keep it in play, and then as he was falling out, passed it forward. So it looks like it's going to be a 5 metre.
Sure there.
I think it's going to be a 5 metre scrum to Belvedere, or it's going to be a 22 dropout. We see the replay here. I think that ball was deemed to have been out. Yeah, touch does flags goes up, so that ball was deemed to have been out, I think, when he threw the ball. So a 22 metre dropout, an interesting one, I suppose, and both coaches will be looking at that. One quite pleased, one quite unhappy, and same up with me in the comms box at the moment. One happy man, one questionable man, I suppose, but that's after being knocked into touch now from Belvedere. And I suppose when you look at what just happened on the back of that touch, or on the back of that penalty, now Castleknock clear and it's knocked into touch by Belvedere. Couple of compounded errors, or just maybe a stroke of luck. You need both though, Tadhg, don't you, to win? To win here, you're going to need a bit of luck.
Yeah, I don't think the director of rugby, Adrian Flavin, would be too disappointed with those 2 decisions anyway. So, look, I think both teams would take being in the game with 8 minutes to go, one score in it again. So it's all to play for.
All to play for. 1 point in it. Clock stopped here now. Just over 7 minutes left in this contest, plus whatever is added on after the 70 in regards when the ball goes dead. But couple of funny decisions there in the last minute, struggling to make sense of it here ourselves, I suppose. I think it's fair to say, but there's a couple of wry smiles around the place and a couple of, I suppose, sighs coming out and blown out cheeks. But Tadhg, you have to admit, as a contest, it is thoroughly enjoyable.
Yeah, it's very hard to take your eye off it. I will ask Will Hennessy what he was doing in the dead ball zone there and what actually happened, but look, you'll take any bit of luck you can on the day, so if it boils down to that, we'll take it.
Luke Donoghue feeding the scrum now for Castleknock, and that's a big drive coming in from Belvedere. Again, they're still a point behind. Referee has called the scrum back to reset it, I think. I don't think Castleknock will mind too much. They're happy enough to reset this and take their time. Luke Donoghue with the ball under his left arm there, just trying to keep warm, stamping those feet. It's absolutely freezing here in Energia Park, folks, but I suppose the players on the pitch don't really feel it at the moment. Reset scrum coming in. 6.5 minutes left now. Belvedere still a point behind in the last game of this round of the Leinster School Senior Cup. It's flashed out. Castleknock in possession. Loop coming around, but it's chose to carry now. Big tactic coming in the middle of the pitch. Typifies, I suppose, the kind of game it's been so far. That's a wide looping pass, but it's collected very well. Collected very, very well from number 11, Conor Watt, an elusive try-scoring winner who's also part of the Dublin Minor footballing team. Castleknock holding on to the ball here now. That's number 19, Conan Lennon, with a big carry, a big carry there into the heart of the Belvedere defence. Castleknock will just look to keep possession. A nice dummy tip there and a nice positive carry coming from Castleknock. Again, crashed up there by Ross O'Connor. Referee having a good look and awards the penalty to Belvedere. Again, folks, a game you cannot take your eyes off. Just because you have possession of the ball does not seem to mean anything in this game. And Belvedere now with the penalty in the middle of the pitch. A couple of big boots on the game. Just off your screen we have number 14 for Belvedere, Patrick O'Grady, just carrying a slight bit of a knock. He might come into your screen here, bottom left, just carrying a bit of a slight knock. And also Lorcan McKenna on the ground getting a bit of treatment. But big boot here from Jed Tormney. What you reckon, Ronan? Pumps it into the sideline, go for them all?
Yeah, I'd say at this stage you're looking to kind of put ourselves out of reach. Interesting to see what he does here now. He looks like he's aiming towards the posts inside his own half, which is a brave decision.
He absolutely is. It's going to look like a 51-52 metre kick with the wind at his back. Even with the wind, it's a huge kick. Point behind. Tired hamstrings is right, yeah. So it's going to be an interesting kick to see now what happens here. But fair play to Jed Tormney taking this decision and putting it on his own shoulders here. A huge kick, Ronan.
There's always a chance that Will Hennessy will try and throw it back forward again.
We'll see what happens behind the try line, I suppose, again here. But he's just lining up the kick now, placing the ball on the tee. An absolute massive kick coming here Castleknock crowd full of song. They're a point ahead. Just under 5 minutes to go. Why wouldn't they be? Number 21, Conor O'Driscoll, comes in just to hold the ball for Jed Torney. Wind starting to pick up now that small bit more. He lines it up. Big chance here. He gives it an absolute boot, but too much spin on that ball and drops short. Castleknock happy just to watch it, I suppose under no real pressure, and run it from behind their own try line, which I did not see happening, but here we are. This game, folks, does not disappoint, especially if you're a neutral. I imagine if you're one of the coaches, you're probably having a heart attack, but for us neutrals, it's an absolutely thrilling contest. Back now to O'Connor, who clears it. That's a massive clearance, but you'd wonder, Tadhg, why they probably just didn't touch down behind their line and try and kill the clock a little bit, especially heading towards the end of this game.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It might have taken a bit of sting out of it, but the crowd actually think the time is up because the clock has gone 70 in the stadium, but we're 66 here, so we've got 3.5 minutes to play, and another platform here for Belvedere.
Another platform is right, and another chance for them to bring their maul into the game. Castleknock will have to be squeaky clean in their own half. Any penalty is probably going to be kicked at this stage in the game. I wonder if every player knows that there's still another 3 odd minutes left in that game. We see the Belvedere maul now coming in there. Ref happy that it's still there and just calling use it here now for the first time. We see Castleknock coming around. They didn't change their bind, but they did, according to the referee. Didn't clear out, and I mean, just 3 minutes left in the game. Yet another chance for Belvedere to snatch this win, Ronan. I imagine the fans don't know that there's 3 minutes left in this game. They think time's up, so with every kick they're getting more excited. The Belvedere players will know they'll probably get another chance. You can see them heading down towards this kick on the far touchline as the camera pans out. An entire stand worth of fans starting to walk their way down towards this kick. Schools rugby never disappoints, but we're going to see another chance here now for Belvedere, Ronan, to either kick for points or to kick for the line. Castleknock still don't know what's going to happen, but this one's going right down to the wire.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting decision here with 3 minutes left. Will they kick to the corner after 2 missed kicks, or will they back themselves again? It looks like he's going to kick into the corner and back that maul.
Maul, it's such a big part to play early in the game, and it's starting to come back in. That was a close one. I think the crowd went a little bit quiet there, wondering where that ball went. You can see that wind again picking up, and you can see the entire sideline just starting to move down now to where this is taking place. Whether they're trying to back the throw or not is anybody's guess, but a massive line out here coming now. Just going on 2 minutes left now in this contest between Belvedere and Castleknock. They managed to take that. They're looking to get their maul now in place. An absolutely huge chance for Belvedere here now. Castleknock set well in defence, but that maul is starting to move. Referee's happy, no binds have been changed, and that goes down. Advantage here now to Belvedere, and they're in a very good position. You think now that they're just going to incorporate the forward game again, just like they did for their other 2 tries. Just pick and go, pick and go. We see it coming here. Still advantage here for Belvedere. Only a point in it. Castleknock defending with everything they've got. Look at the numbers around that. Just looking to keep that out now. Belvedere getting closer and closer. The crowd think they have it, but no. Still short according to the referee. Another pick and go there, and a good chop tackle from Castleknock. Ball's out there, but cleaned up well from Belvedere. Geez, what a game this is, and what a way for it to come down. Another advantage here now for Belvedere if they choose to want it, but they're probably happy to keep going here through their forward pack. Castleknock think they're over the ball. They'll have to supply that short side, which they do. Another pick and go, and that's going to be a try for Belvedere. A minute left in the game. Belvedere get over in the corner after relentless pressure. The crowd on my left up here in the stand going absolutely mental, and that's going to be, if I'm correct, that's going to be Michael Carmody, number 20, who came from the bench, who carried well there in order to give his team probably the win in this game. 40 seconds left, conversion still yet to come. Castleknock players are stretching behind the try line. I think they may know that that's the end of the game. We see the replay here, just plenty of strong carries coming. Carmody getting over at the end. You can see what it means to the team. We said it would be a 1-score game. That's exactly what it's coming down to. And now Ronan a chance just to finish off this game for Belvedere.
Yeah, kick here to make it 21-15, but you'd have to say Belvedere very, very calm over the last 3 or 4 minutes, showing all the experience they have, especially with Phil O'Reilly, could coach the team to 4 finals there in the last decade, so a lot of experience there in the backroom staff, but cracking game, and really strong performance from both teams.
This is going to be the last kick of the game, regardless if it goes over or not. Currently 19-15 to Belvedere. A win coming thanks to a last-minute try from Carmody. That ball's travelling, but doesn't seem like it's going to get over. But that doesn't matter. The referee blows the whistle. Belvedere fans happy. Belvedere team happy. And it looks like the Castleknock players, you can just see the devastation on them. An absolutely thrilling game, Tadhg. They have an awful lot to be proud of at the same time, despite the scoreline.
Yeah, I'm very proud of the lads' effort. They will be disappointed. They probably made mistakes that they've never done before. That's just the nature of the cup. But again, they left everything out there. They should be very proud of themselves. They brought it all the way to the final minute, and you know they're in the driving seat going into that last minute, so they'll be devastated. And so also the coaching staff and parents and everyone else invested in that team. They've been a pleasure to watch all year, and they're just a great gang of lads as well. So
I think Belvedere Ronan are going to take a lot of heart, though, the fact that they kept fighting to the end. They managed to get over the line, literally and figuratively, and get the win despite being behind for pretty much, I think, all the games. So they're going to take a lot of heart going into the next round. Yeah,
absolutely. And in the cup, all it is survive and advance, and they've certainly survived an epic battle here and advancing into the next round. We'll see the draw now in a moment, and the draw will be a massive deal for us now, and we'll see who we get in the next round and see how the rest of the draw plays out.
So as Ronan said, we'll have the draw here now for the next round live from the pitch. You can see the screen coming up here now in a second, and the box in the middle with the names drawn. So Belvedere come out on top 19-15 thanks to a last gasp try from Michael Carmody in the corner. A fantastic game between both teams, and now we'll just wait for the draw to see who gets whom in the next round.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we come to the draw for the quarterfinals of the cup. The teams in the draw are Blackrock College, Kilkenny College, Tadhg College, Newbridge, Wesley, Belvedere, St Mary's and They will play Belvedere College. Blackrock College will play Blackrock College will play Tadhg College. Gonzaga College will play Wesley College. St. Mary's College. Will play Kilkenny College. So just to reprise, Newbridge will play Belvedere, Blackrock will play Tadhg, Gonzaga will play Wesley.
Gonzaga versus Wesley and St Mary's College versus Kilkenny College. The draw was done by Phil Lawler, Head of Rugby Development, and Adam Griggs, Leinster Rugby Talent ID Coach. So there you go, folks. That's the next round, quarterfinals. Promising if they're anything like today's game, they're going to be set up to be absolute belters. So make sure you tune in and catch them all. And you can see them here on this link and on this website. 4 brilliant games to come with 8 fantastic teams. And you can catch them all online live on this stream.